What's up, everybody? Ty Bartell in with another edition of Player Profile. This time we head down to Columbiana County to our friends over at Crestview, home of the Rebels. Girls basketball, one of their leaders, Addison Rhodes, joining me today. Addison, how are we doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm not doing too bad myself, and you're not doing too bad on the hardwood again this year, putting up MVP-like numbers once again. I mean, young lady, when you talk about your ceiling, it feels like it is so high, and you haven't even touched it yet. And it's incredible with the things you've been doing on the
Yeah,
floor, too. What gives you that drive? What gives you that discipline to keep at your craft too and be able to put up the performances you have game in and game out?
definitely just to be the best person I can be on and off the court. That just makes a big difference. And I just want to be better every day. And I think that just helps myself continue to get better and help our team get better.
Now you're just a junior too, so you still have a whole other year of growth
Yeah.
and development. But since I talked with one of our players too, Marcel Finkley over at Fitch too, he kind of gave me a game plan. And I was curious if other players use a similar game plan or have a game plan throughout the years. When you talk about freshman year, you came on, bursted on the scene, you were already great. What are some things you wanted to work on from freshman to sophomore year and sophomore to junior year? What improvements did you want to see in your game, and have you seen them?
Yeah, definitely. I want to be more physical. I had to be more physical. It's as you play better teams, better players, they're more physical. So you have to match their physicality. So definitely being physical, strong. I think I've done a better job. I think I can still do a better job of being more physical and finishing around the rim, but definitely a better shooter. I think I'm really consistent shooter now. I feel like freshman year I was an okay shooter, but I wasn't a great shooter. So I feel like now I'm really a great shooter, and I think that just comes with a lot of reps.
So when you talk about the things you've been working on now, what does it look like going forward now? What do you want to continue to work on and get better at as you try to put it all together for your senior year coming up next year?
Yeah, I definitely want to get a little bit better footwork around the basket, better finishing, more physical. So yeah, definitely just being more physical around the basket inside.
We talk about this season. It's another successful year for Crestview basketball. You guys are MVAC champs once again, too, with another dominating display of that. Talk to me about just keeping up that standard the last few years, too. I mean, it's tough to do it once, but to do it multiple times like you guys have, too. It takes some skill and it takes a lot of determination and discipline to do that. What's it been like going on that ride, too, and just being a part of this ride, too, trying to go a step beyond what you guys did last year?
Yeah. I mean, it's great to just be around these girls all the time, and we all want the best, so I feel like we push each other to be the best, and I think that makes a huge difference in our success because we work very hard to be where we're at, and we know every team's out to get us, so we have to just come no matter who the opponent is, we just have to come ready to play every night.
From the moment you guys had to walk off the court for your last game last year, how hungry has this group been going into now tournament time this year as you guys have Fairview coming up?
Well, I can tell we are all very hungry. Every one of us during practices, you can just see it. We're having great practices right now, and I think we're all really disappointed with how it ended last year, and we don't want we don't want it to end the same this year.
When you talk about having that experience though and having that feeling that kind of, I guess, that down point in a career too, what has that done for you personally, motivation wise? What have you looked to do from last year to try to just help the team this year go further than they have before?
Well, you have to learn from losses. So I feel like learning from that loss last year, I don't think I played great. So I know this year I have to come out and I have to be ready to play. I don't think I was ready to play last year, and so I really have to be ready to play. I have to be focused, and I think our whole team, we all want it really bad. So I think we're gonna go out and get it.
Your ability to critique yourself, I think, is what makes you really great too, because you're never
Yeah,
satisfied with yourself. You will
yeah,
critique yourself too, and I like that about you too. But one of my favorite things, despite all the skill, and don't take this the wrong way, because you are uber talented, but one of my favorite things about you is just your leadership. I see you with the younger players too. Maybe they have those flashes of immaturity. Maybe they have those flashes too of frustration. But you're always, I feel like, that calming voice, that on-court coach, as I've called you
yeah.
before. Is that something you've had to grow into? Have you always been like that with the sport too? How has that kind of come along for you?
I've always been a little vocal, but definitely this year I've grown into it a lot. I've been in their shoes before. I know what it's like to be young out there playing, and making a mistake and just feeling like the world's over, but it's really not. So I feel like maybe just being there for them kind of helps them a little bit to calm down a little bit because I know what it's like to be in their shoes.
What's it like to play for this Crestview community, this Rebels community? I know they come out, they support you. I mean, home games are always
Yeah,
popping. So
yeah,
what's it like
yeah.
playing for this community and
I
being in
mean,
this school system?
yeah, it's really nice because we do always. I feel like every home game we have a good crowd. It's always loud in there, so they're always supporting us. And anytime I'm in school and I see an administrator or a teacher, they're always like saying good job or something like that. So they're very supportive.
When we talk about your basketball journey, when did the first chapter get written? When do you first remember having a ball in your hands, and when is the earliest memories in the sport?
I would definitely say like first grade. Yeah,
First grade,
yeah, that's when I first started playing.
early age too.
Yeah,
So
I did. Yeah,
what did you get involved with too? And what kept you in it through all these years too? Did that love start in first grade, or did you just
yeah.
kind of find yourself loving it along the way?
I just always loved it. I started playing when I was younger with my friend, and then I guess I've always just played, and it's just something I've loved ever since I was little.
There any kind of players you kind of look up to, emulate, or try to emulate your play style after, or are you just trying to kind of be completely yourself?
My favorite player is LeBron.
Yeah.
He's been my favorite player ever since I was little, but I wouldn't say I play like him, but he's just someone I've always liked to watch.
When you talk about basketball and women's basketball in general, there's no doubt that it's continued to get
Yeah,
bigger and better than ever before. When you talk about the competition, though, of going from middle school to high school now, I feel like from 10 years ago to now,
yeah,
it's even
yeah,
increased. What was it like for you making that jump? I know it seems seamless because you were
yeah.
putting up great numbers freshman year, but was there a big difference that you noticed going from middle school to freshman year high school?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot faster paced than middle school. And it's also, like I said, more physical. Like the refs they don't call tic tac fouls sometimes, so you have to just play through that, and you just have to be ready. If you make a mistake, you just have to keep playing because it's so fast paced.
From your freshman year to now, what do you think the biggest thing, not basketball wise, personality wise, person wise, you think you've grown in?
Definitely just learning that. Just staying calm in moments of like when things go hard, you just have to stay calm and you just have to um, get through it. There's just I guess you just have to like if something goes wrong, you just have to keep going, keep playing, whatever it is.
When you talk about Crestview too as a school system, I know there's all kinds of great teachers throughout there
Yeah.
as well. What are some of the favorite teachers that you've had the opportunity to be under at Crestview?
There's a couple. I like my math teacher, Miss Joy. She's pretty great. Mr. Holland, he was my history teacher freshman year, and then I had a criminal justice class with him this past semester. And then Senora Hall, the Spanish teacher, she's always funny. There's a bunch of them. Mr. Fawcett, he's great too. He's a big supporter of Crestview basketball.
So those are some of the favorite teachers. What's the favorite subject? What comes
Definitely
easy to
math.
you?
Math.
Math, you said?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I could see that too. I could see
Yeah.
that the way
Yeah.
you kind of analyze, you're pretty subjective on
Yeah.
stuff like that. When we talk about though, what makes a good teacher in your mind, what do you think that is?
I just think someone who is willing to put the time in to help you and just understanding a little bit.
When we talk about teaching and coaching, there's a lot of parallels that we see throughout there, and of course, when we look at Coach for Crestview too, I mean that obviously Coach Blatch is one of the
Yeah.
best too in the area. Talk to me about just being coached under him too, and what he's helped you with in your game playing at Crestview.
Yeah, I definitely he really believes in all of us and he really tries to instill confidence. Like he lets us just believe that we can go as far as we want because we work hard. So we just have to go out and play like how we work hard. So I think he just does a great job of helping us just be ourselves and pushing us to be better.
The standard is back full force for Crestview girls basketball. It feels like too, and as I mean, we see the younger ages too starting to get
Yeah.
interested in the sport, and I love to see it too because I know we're kind of going through a little bit of a valley in girls basketball
Yeah.
participation numbers around the sport. When you talk about that too, I know you're not going to have all the answers, but you are a basketball mind too, and
Yeah.
you've been there, you've done that. What do you think are some things that some schools can do to get these girls more involved at the younger ages? I know there's a lot more extracurriculars that are
Yeah.
pulling them different directions, but what do you personally think we can do and middle schools can do and elementary schools can do to get girls involved and stay involved in basketball?
I feel like it's not as much games. I feel like we need to do more fun stuff just to keep them like have little camps that are like just based around having fun, not as much like because at a little age, I mean, it's important to learn the fundamentals, but at the same time, they're there to have fun. So if they're there to have fun, they're going to continue to want to do it.
When you talk about advice that you would give, say some middle schoolers that are coming up through the ranks, seventh and eighth graders right now, looking at what Addison Rhodes is doing on the court and saying, "Hey, I want to be able to do something similar." What's some advice you give to those younger girls too in the Crestview system or anywhere that look up to you?
just that you have to be ready to work hard. Because if you work hard, you can go wherever you want to go if you work hard. So you just have to be ready to work hard, and everything else will come after that.
Take me through your work regimen too. How does that look like for school basketball? How do you time manage all of that?
Like in season, I would say I go to practice, and then I go lift after practice, and I shoot again after practice, and then I come home, do my homework and stuff, and then by that time I'm like ready for bed.
What, I can imagine too. What has been your key and your secret to success? What is the thing you practice the most to? Or what do you feel like maybe other people aren't paying attention to, but you feel like is an important part of the process?
Just the amount of work I put in. I mean, I'd say I work put outside of practice. I do 2 hours every single day, and if it's not in season, I'm like during the summer I was up at 7 a.m. lifting, and then doing like 2 or 3 workouts after that. So I'd just say the hard work I put in is no one else works like I do.
That's impressive, young lady. Impressive indeed. And when we talk about that, that takes an exceptional amount of discipline. Surely there's
Yeah.
going to be days where you wake up and you're
Yeah.
like, man, I really don't want to go shoot
Yeah.
around right now.
Yeah.
How do you battle through that? How do you keep going?
Well, I just tell myself that those are the days that make you better. So just fighting through that, it'll like after I do it, I feel great. So I just have to push myself to go do it, and then it's okay.
I know the future is exceptionally bright for you. You still have another year at the high school level left, but I mean, surely, I mean, the college recruiting window is open a little bit too.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've given some looks. When you talk about colleges that when you're searching for them, what are some things you're particularly looking for in a college? What's appealing to you?
Just like the family-like atmosphere. I love like the close relationships between like the teammates, and just having a relationship with the coach is a big factor for me. Because I feel like relationships, like no matter what's going on the court, if you have a good relationship, it'll be a good experience.
Does location necessarily matter to you, or is there any places in mind that you're kind of looking?
Location is not a big factor. I mean, I don't think I want to go really, really far, but location, it's up in the air right now still.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be all kinds of talks this upcoming
Yeah.
summer and all kinds of
Yeah.
visits, and yeah,
Yeah.
that whole process starts too. How exciting is that though for you? I'm sure like this is something you've been
Yeah.
dreaming of and thinking of
Yeah.
for a long time.
Yeah. This has been one of my goals since I was little. So, I mean, it is really exciting to see it all plan out and fall out.
Now, outside of the sport of basketball and outside of your studies, what do you try to do for hobbies when basketball's not taking up your mind and time?
I like to go shopping or just hang out with my friends. That's one of the biggest things. Or just going out to eat. I guess anything really.
What's the go-to store to shop at for you?
Um, that's a tough one. I don't know. I like Lululemon, or I like Dick's. So
What if we gave you a $5,000 shopping spree? What would be the first things you'd be buying?
probably some Kobe's. I don't
Okay,
know. I've liked Kobe's recently, so
just gotta get all the laces up, all right? You gotta get
yeah,
all the
yeah,
kicks, no doubt. I
yeah.
love your kicks too, by the way. You rep the Crestview colors
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
How big of the feel good, look good, feel good, play good is in your mind too? Is that a big part of your game?
Yeah, I like to have shoes that look good. Yeah, I would say that's a big part, yeah.
We got a playoff game coming up tonight too,
Yeah,
and I don't
yeah,
want to go. I don't want to go over this interview
yeah,
without skipping over that too. Talk to me about just your mentality going into this matchup against Fairview and just getting to the next level. I mean, it's survive and advance time now in the
yeah.
sport of basketball. What's your mentality like going into tonight?
We can't take anything for granted, so we just have to come out and leave everything on the floor, and I feel like that's exactly what we're gonna do tonight, so we just my mentality is just to go out there and play as hard as I can, and the rest will work out. So I just have to go out and play as best as I can play, and I know my teammates will do the same. So just
Well,
leaving everything on the floor.
I'm so excited for what you guys are going to be able to do tonight. Sponsored on YSN Live, so you can get that game tonight for free, folks. So make sure you tune in and watch Addison and the Rebels to do their thing against Fairview. Before I let you go, though, I want to give you the spotlight and give you the opportunity to shout out, shine it on anybody that's been there along the way through this journey with you that you want to give some love to.
Yeah, definitely all my family. They support me in everything I do. They're at almost every single game, even AU games when they're far away. So they do a great job. They're always there for me. I just say my family is the biggest. They're definitely my biggest supporters.
And before we let you go, I also want to give you the opportunity. Shout out that Crestview community. Let them know where they need to be tonight at 7
Yeah,
p.m.
be there 7 p.m. Crestview.
It's playoff games tonight for the Rebels. They host Fairview. And if you can't make it there, you know where to catch it live. This has been a first edition of Player Profile with junior sensation Addison Rhodes.